Hello, my Stampin' friends. How are you today? My name is Linda Edwards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator with Crafty Heron Designs, and I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful card today. If you have joined me because you purchased my card kit or made a purchase from me and earned the card kit for this class, thank you for joining me. You will receive the materials in the that'll look like this in your card kit, and I'll go ahead and help you assemble it. So as you can see, we are using the Heartfelt Hexagon photopolymer stamp set. We're also going to use the Heartfelt Hexagon Punch, and we are using the So Swirly Embossing Folder. I really like this. It's got this fun design on it. And if you've gotten the card kit, your piece is already embossed for you. So really all you have to do is assemble it and do a little bit of stamping. So let's go ahead and get started. I will give you all of the measurements. So if you want to make this card on your own, please feel free to do so. And you can adapt it to use whatever materials you currently have on hand. So what I'm starting with is the card base, which is crumb cake. And it is just a standard, just one piece of paper, and it is 5.5 by 4.25, 5.5 by 4.25. And one of the things I love about this this card is you can use both sides of the designer series paper. So choose a piece of paper that you really like both sides on, and then you can decide which one you want to feature. This designer series paper is 6 across by 5. If there's a direction to it, make sure you cut it the right way. 6 across is the long way, and we are going to score it at 2 1/4. So it's a little hard to see the score line, but it is there. So if I've scored it for you, just feel for it. That's where you should find it. You'll see that like that. So the first thing you do is get your paper and go ahead and fold it. This is the Perennial Lavender paper. Just love it. It did carry over from the spring catalog into the annual catalog. Just love the colors in this paper. I think it's just an interesting combination. So I love using it. So I've got another layer. This is Highland Heather. And this layer is kind of, your standard 5 1/4 by 4. So let's go ahead and put that together. Oh, might be time for a new liquid glue. I am a fan of liquid glue, but you use whatever adhesive you are most comfortable with. I know some people get it everywhere, so they don't like it. But as you can see, this is just centered on the crumb cake. And then after you fold this piece, make sure that sometimes my scoring is a little bit off. So make sure that, see how that's a little bit off? Easy to correct, especially with designer series paper. Line it up and then take your bone folder and go ahead and change that. So that piece is going to be lined up right on the Highland Heather. This card comes together really quickly. It would be a really cute design to do for Christmas because I think it's got a fun kind of a wow factor, but it really is very easy to come together. Okay, so that's the card base. So now let me show you the rest of the pieces that we have. So I have, there are 3 pieces of white in your kit, and this can be a little tricky. So if you've got my kit, the piece with the little cut in it, that's going to be for your stamping, for your sentiment. So set that one aside. And then you have 2 other pieces of basic white. One is 4 1/4 by 2 3/4, and one is 4 by 2. The larger one is going to go on the outside. And then I have another piece of Highland Heather. This one is 4 1/8 by 2 5/8. That's 4 1/8 by 2 5/8. And it layers on top of this one. So if you've got your pieces, just figure out which one layers. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach those 2 together. Now, typically I do all of my stamping first, but this card's so straightforward, I think it can go either way. All right, I'm done with that one. Let's get a new one. I don't have patience for that. Look at that. See, that's how it's supposed to come out. Nice and easy and not too much. I don't go too close to the edges, especially when it's kind of coming out pretty easily. Now, there's not a lot of room here. If you'd like a little more of a border, you can certainly make that white piece a little bit bigger. So I'm going to put those two together and set those aside. I went ahead and embossed that already just to save us a little bit of time, but you can see it's got that fun embossing layer in it. So I'm going to set that aside for a minute. And this is going to be our inside. So let's go ahead and do some of our stamping. I will show you that this piece of basic white is smaller because I'm going to put it on the inside, and I want to make sure it doesn't show beneath this one, okay, because only half of it is showing. So we will go ahead and do some stamping. So this piece that's got the little cut on it, we're going to stamp with our Sending You Lots of Love and Hugs. And it's got, this stamp set has a couple of different frames in it. You can see one of them is just dots, and then this one's got a little bit more to it. I'm going to go ahead and use that one there, the second one. And I'm going to use a Stampin' Pierce mat because this is a photopolymer stamp set. So I'm going to just go ahead and on this piece, I'm going to put it on a little bit of an angle. And this is Crumb Cake ink. There we go. I just did that so it would fit, but you can see this is how it's going to work, right? In your kit, if you've gotten one, your card kit, you will have the, it will already be cut for you. I've already cut it in case you don't have that punch, but you can certainly change the shape of that sentiment. So this is Highland Heather. Again, it is photopolymer, so I am using the Stampin' Pierce mat. There you go. Looks like that didn't take very well. I'm going to do it again on the other side. Let me do, I might need to re-ink that Highland Heather. As a matter of fact, I think I'll do that so I can show you how to re-ink when that happens to you. So go ahead and do that. Crumb Cake, set that aside, and let's bring in the re-inker. Okay, so I have the Highland Heather ink pad and ink bottle refill. And I'm going to go ahead and put that there. You can see how it's starting to sink in. Well, I want to spread it out so that it's not all in one spot. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm using the back of a spoon because I don't want to gouge my ink pad and put a cut in it. And I'm just very gently kind of spreading that out. All right, let's test it. I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper to test that with before I do it on my actual paper. So set that aside, bring in my ink pad. Sometimes you do have to be careful because then sometimes it's a little too juicy. Let's see. Oh no, that's much better, don't you think? Okay, let's go ahead and do that on here. And I'm kind of looking in the at that center where the U is, because that's where it's going to be most obvious. And once again, centering that, crossing my fingers. Ah, yes, much better. You see that? And then the other side, look at how light that was. And primarily, I was just looking at that, where that U is. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but it was a little blurry. So That's much better. Okay, set those aside. And a little lesson in ink, refilling an ink pad. You know, I use mine a lot. I don't really have to fill them very often, but I've probably had that one, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, a long time, quite a few years. And I do classes, so we use it a lot. Okay, so you can see I'm just lining that up in the punch. And obviously for this card, you can use anything you have on hand. It's a really nice basic design that is really easily adaptable. But I do really like this punch. But you can put a Merry Christmas in there. Lots of different things you can do. All right, I am also going to stamp. This is the inside of the card. And I am going to bring in one of the other stamps from this stamp set. It's just a little flower, and I am going to stamp it off. So this is crumb cake that I'm using for the flower. I want to stamp it off, and then I'm going to go ahead and put it just to the side there. There we go, so it's nice and light. And then I'm going to bring in my envelope. I'm going to decorate my envelope as well. Again, I want to stamp it off because I want it to be light. And I'll show you why. There, 2. I think I'll do one more, kind of lower. There. Okay, so that was crumb cake stamped off. And then I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Right marker. This is Highland Heather. I'm going to use the skinny side. You can see it's got a skinny side and a more of a brush side. And I'm just going to fill in those flowers with a little bit of color. So there we go right there. You can use a Stampin' Blend. You could use a watercolor pencil. You could put ink on a block, put ink on a block, and then go ahead and use a water painter to pick up some of the ink and color that way. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this if you don't have the Stampin' Right markers. But that's probably the easiest way. Whoops. Put that on there. So you can see that I just colored in the little flower so that it coordinates with the paper that we've got. Okay, so let's see. Let's go ahead. I didn't want to put a sentiment on the inside of this one because I wasn't sure. You know, sending you lots of love and hugs could really be a lot of different occasions, right? It could be a birthday, it could be a sympathy, it could be get well, and I wanted to keep the flexibility in that. So I just attached this to the center of this card base, all right? And then I'm gonna put this over it, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna center it, and I'm just gonna watch so that you can't see that white, basic white layer behind it. But I'm only gonna put liquid glue on this side. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that over, line it up, and now I can tell how far over I wanna go with my adhesive. Okay, flip it back that way. And go ahead and lay it down. All right, now I've got I've got a piece of Lost Lagoon. This little piece is 3/4 of an inch by 3, and I'm gonna flag the end of it. Find my scissors. Where'd my scissors go? Does it happen to you? It happens to me all the time. And I need my good scissors to flag this end, but I don't know where they went. Here, I'll bring in another pair. These should work, but I really do like my Stampin' Up scissors. I'll have to find them. So I'm just gonna take a little center. I'm gonna trim a little piece of the center. and that's maybe 1/4 of an inch, and flag it on both ends. And then I'll lay it all out for you so you can see. I do want to make sure you don't see that white there, so it'll go that way. This is going to go on top of there. And then I will have a piece of, maybe I'll double the ribbon, double the twine. This is just the white baker's twine. Make a little bow out of it. And, okay. All right, let's cut the end of that off so that it doesn't twirl around on me. So baker's twine does tend to kind of curl on you. So what I like to do is I'm holding the knot in the middle as I adjust the width of the bow. This is going to go kind of right there. So I think that's a good size. So let's go ahead and assemble it. As you can see, this comes together very quickly. I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on the back of this. And as I said, I don't really want to see the white behind it. So just line it up there. I'm going to put some dimensionals on that layer. And this is all within the width of the layer of this layer. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go all the way around. As you can see, this comes together really nice and easily. And I'm gonna just center that side to side here. And then I want this Lost Lagoon layer centered as well. Ooh, move that over just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Glue dot for ribbon. Baker's twine, any kind of ribbon is always, a glue dot is the best tool for that. And I have my take your pick tool. I don't really want to use the flat end, but I do want to use the pointy end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to curl it. See how, can you see how I'm rotating that? Curl that to pick up that glue dot because this is so small. And I like to look at both sides to see, is there a better side one way or the other? I think I want to put that side on it. Put that together. And then I'm going to put that right there. And then I'm going to come in and trim these down a little bit more. And then we need a little bit of bling. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Iridescent Pearl Basic Jewels. I just feel like it works really well with this card. So I've got 3 little jewels that I'm going to put on it. I'm going to start with the large one in the middle. And I'm going to just put them over to the side here. One large one, one small one, and then, can I get this one on? I think that's pretty straight. Ooh, yeah, okay. See the 3 like that. There you go. And your card is done. Isn't that just a sweet and simple card? And yet it really is got a great wow factor. The embossing folders and the designer series paper really make this card. And I will show you, I played around with different colors. So I made this one with Lost Lagoon. So that's pretty too. And then I swapped the colors. I did the Highland Heather on the outside and the Crumb Cake on the middle. So there's another option. So I like them all, but I don't know. I ended up with this one. I don't know, but this one's really, I don't know. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. So if you like what you see, I try to do videos about once a week. Would love for you to follow along and see some of my other videos, whether you're seeing me on YouTube or Facebook. I have them on both sides. And if you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator of your own, I would love to help you purchase any of the items that you see today in this video, or any other Stampin' Up! Items that you might need to unleash your creativity. Again, my name is Linda Edwards, and I really appreciate you following me, giving me a thumbs up, commenting. It does help other people to find me. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.